PR30 challenge day 2. I am doing a 30-day challenge, PR standing for press record, with a bunch of wildly inspired people from across the globe. We were all brought together by a guy named Pogrob, who speaks wonderfully about obsession. And he put this challenge out there for all of us who were curious to take part and hold each other accountable to recording a video and posting it online every day for 30 days. But the basic tenet here is that you have to post videos that are raw, unfiltered, very low production, and as Zach says, press record and tell the truth. So this is my second day I'm doing this. I'm actually quite impressed with myself that I'm here because I have been avoiding this step into the next season of growth for me personally and professionally quite well for quite some time. So the fact that I'm here on day 2, the committing to it, following through, I'm really proud of myself. So because of that, what's really top of mind for me is building confidence and the road to building confidence. Hence the topic for today. And I gave it some thought and have been considering it for quite a while because it has been something that has confused me quite a bit in the sense that I find myself to be quite a confident person. And I was questioning myself, okay, so if I feel that I'm wildly confident in so many different scenarios, what makes me feel so unable to do something like this? Well, up until this point, obviously, which, like I said, I'm really excited about. And the one thing, main thing, predominant thing that came to my mind was my ability to have a sense of confidence in a lot of situations has really been based on my in-depth knowledge of myself. It is something I'm strongly passionate about, the fact that I feel like self-knowledge is your superpower. It's what all of my work is based on with coaching and speaking, and it's where I spend a lot of my time, my free time, reading, researching, and writing about. And I think that that self-knowledge is what has given me a huge basis for a lot of my confidence. And, well, I suppose it's not to say that I'm then immune to feeling really insecure when it comes to something like the fear of not being able to add value when I had something to say. So then I started diving deeper into if knowledge of self is the crux and the backbone of gaining confidence, what are the other elements that could help aid myself, you, other people in the process of building greater confidence in whatever avenue it might be that you are pursuing? Lack of confidence is obviously based on insecurity. And I feel that a lot of us, I mean, we tend to throw around the word insecure, I think, quite flippantly. Or that person's quite insecure, or she's insecure about that. And we just make these very generalized blanket statements. And even about ourselves, I think I've heard of, quite a few of my friends talk about their insecurities in some way. And I think we tend to perceive our insecurities or insecurity as something that needs to be endured. It's like this elusive, intangible quality that we have, and it's just a burden that we have to carry. And I think a lot of us then try and accept or come to terms with the fact that that particular burden is just something we have to carry for our lives. And I don't believe it's the case, because just like anything, you can proactively inch your way forward in evolving in some way. And I think curing, healing, remedying our insecurities is definitely something that we can move towards shifting within ourselves. So the 3 things for me that are really, really important in building confidence and where insecurity really comes from would be the lack of information and knowledge. And that would be the information and knowledge about the thing that you're trying to do, the skill that you are trying to acquire, or, and for me more importantly, information and knowledge about yourself. So understanding how you tick. The second thing would be your lack of competence. So your ability to do something well. And that obviously, quite simply and quite obviously is why a lot of us avoid doing certain things. We fear we're not going to be able to do it well at all. And then the last one would be the lack of safety. And I'm not talking about physical safety, that's a whole other rabbit hole of conversation. I mean more mental, emotional, spiritual safety in a situation. That if you don't feel safe in those ways in a situation, you tend to then feel quite insecure. But more importantly, on lack of safety, I feel it's more the lack of safety within yourself, the inability to trust and rely on yourself. And these three things I feel are really, really important cornerstones to building confidence. And if we go into the lack of information and knowledge, so being really proactive in seeking information and knowledge in something that you don't understand. So I think we all too often feel quite stuck or frustrated or unsure or uncertain around a particular topic, and then we just park it there. Whereas we've got so much information and resource available at our fingertips these days that if we can build a habit around seeking knowledge and seeking information, anytime a question pops into your head or you have a certain resistance or uncertainty around something, to either actively in that moment type in a question into Google and try and find an answer, or at least begin the process of seeking more answers, or like what I've started doing, writing it down somewhere, capturing it somewhere, and then making a practice of going and further developing your knowledge in certain areas. So information and knowledge of other things, but then information and knowledge about yourself. So what that looks like is coming to understand what motivates and drives your behavior. So what is the lens that you view the world through? And how does that particular lens distort, impact, and dictate the way that you view yourself and the way that you view the world around you? And I say distort very carefully, because that's what these narratives, these beliefs, and these lenses do, is they don't give us a clear, real perception of what's going on. They give us an illusion, a distortion of what's going on. And I think it's really, really important to understand what is that lens and how is it possibly distorting the way you are perceiving this particular situation, that particular person, or even yourself. Then to lack of competence. I'm sure we've all heard of the concept of 10,000 hours, and the more you do something, the better you become at it. But I've heard quite a lot of people speaking around the idea of not just doing something again and again and again, because you can do something badly for 10,000 hours. So to always be mindful of iteration, of trying to do one thing better every single time. And that then tends to compound into a great sense of improvement. So improving on the competence, doing things well often. And then the lack of safety. And for me, this is a really important one, because when we feel unsafe mentally, emotionally, spiritually with other people, as we know, we tend to withdraw within ourselves, and then we feel insecure, and then we don't feel confident in that particular situation. And then that can pertain to anything we're trying to do, whether it's engaging in a particular skill or a conversation, or just partaking in a certain environment. Like, I know a lot of people get social anxiety. We cannot rely on other people to give us that safety. It changes depending on who you're with. People are wildly unpredictable. People are very unpredictable, and you don't know how people are going to react to certain things because you don't know what lenses they're viewing the world through. So I find that the best thing to do is to focus on the safety and security within yourself. And if in all of this, there was one golden thing that I hope you take from this, and I know it's something that I remind myself of every single day, is building that relationship and trust with yourself. And I feel that is a direct access point to building strong confidence, because a lot of us have got very, very poor relationships with ourselves when it comes to keeping our word, keeping our promises. We're not very trustworthy with ourselves. We abandon ourselves actually quite a lot, quite often. We say we're going to do something and we don't follow through. Whether it's smaller things like when you say you're going to get up at a certain time in the morning and then you don't. You're going to go to gym, then you don't. You're going to call that friend or that family member and then you don't. You say you're going to start recording videos sooner and then you don't. Doing that consistently over a period of time, even with small things, really degrades that integrity with yourself. And when that integrity is completely lost, you don't trust yourself. You don't take yourself seriously. And you know that you can't rely on yourself. And I find that tends to erode and degrade confidence more than anything. And even if you are in a situation where you feel insecure in the sense that you don't feel emotionally, mentally, or spiritually safe with other people, if you feel safe with yourself, you know that you can hold yourself. Like you've just got this best friend for life that has always got your back. And like I said, I feel like that is a really great entry point into building confidence, is how can I start building trust with myself from today, from tomorrow? So whatever I say I'm going to do it. Or better yet, don't promise myself I'm going to do something if I know realistically I won't be able to. So it's also then practicing that sense of discernment to say, actually, you know what? I don't think that's realistic for me today or this week, even though I've been kind of bullshitting myself to say that it is. So let me be realistic and honest with myself and put it in my calendar for next month. And even just that decision gives you the ability to start building trust with yourself. Little intermission to bring my sweet little boy Spencer in. He was just scratching at the door. It's actually one of the reasons why I have avoided committing to big scary things like this, like recording a video a day for 30 days. Not my dogs in particular, but the fear of things always getting in the way. And then I think, well, how am I supposed to maintain anything or maintain a standard if there's always going to be a disruption? And I've let that erode my confidence over a period of time because I feel like I haven't been able to keep all of these things at bay, which is a very unfair thing to ask of myself because it's not really part of being human, is it? So yeah, that's why now part of building confidence in this process for me today, right now, is saying, okay, this is the current situation and I trust myself enough to still be able to deliver on what I said I was going to. And already I can feel that integrity with myself building. And I think it's these small things that compound over time that ultimately build to a fantastic sense of competence, which carries over into any facet of life, as we know. So it doesn't necessarily have to pertain to only one skill. It's more a quality that I feel more like a rolling quality, that it can be applied and adapted to any scenario. It's like when you learn how to speak English, you don't learn how to speak just for one particular scenario. It's a skill that you then apply across the board. And obviously confidence is much the same. So thank you for listening to PR30 Day 2. I must say, I feel like I'm already worlds away from where I was yesterday. Golly, not even 24 hours ago. And I'm excited to see what comes of the rest of the 28 days. And thank you for watching and being a part of the journey. Really appreciate it. See you soon.